can say is, scientifically, it does not, it's impossible for fire to have done what we see.
And these, Bob, these 1,300 engineers and architects who agree with you and some of the other relatives, families. I know you found your son just a couple of days after the disaster. He was outside. I don't want to get into the details of how you believe he died. But these architects and engineers, do they support your contention? Do you believe that it was an inside job, that 9/11 was an inside job?
All right, Geraldo, I believe it was an inside job, okay? I'm here
You believe our government?
Right, please. But the thing is we don't have enough time to get into the reasons of that. We set up this Building What campaign. We saw the...
Building What?
.org.
BuildingWhat.org.
The reason we have that is because Judge Lehner, when we had a petition to have a new investigation in New York City about Building 7. And when the lawyers...
And you're asking the New York City Council, I don't...
Right.
We also to
right.
reopen.
So I know you don't have the time, but anyway, he said, building what? Because no one has any idea about Building 7. So, because I believe in... I've talked to so many firemen, so many EMS workers, policemen, who talk about the explosions. And I know you don't want to get into my son, but I feel my son died from an explosion. I went to all the 9/11 Commission hearings. I've been researching this for 9 years.
So what do you want? Let's get to the bottom line.
I want truth. I've been lied to. I mean, it's beyond a reasonable doubt that the 9/11 Commission did not tell this story.
9/11 Commission barely mentioned Building 7 if at all.
Right.
Okay, what forum do you want the investigation in?
Well, the forum, what we wanted is in New York City right now, because New York City, we feel, has an obligation to investigate 9/11.
So before we're out of time completely, Bob, do you want specifically the New York City Council to open its own investigation of the Building 7 collapse?
Absolutely.
And that would satisfy you if they did that?
Well, I'm not done. I'm still a parent. I'm a parent who has an obligation to find out why my son was murdered. As far as this story in New York City, I want the investigation. That will not be sufficient enough.
I get it.
And I'm going beyond
But it's the
that.
beginning.
Of course it's the beginning, but that's why I support this Building What campaign.
Bob McElvain, we thank you. Tony Zambati, thank you very much. It is an intriguing topic. I certainly am much more open-minded about it than I was, and it is because of the involvement of the 9/11 families and all these engineers and architects. Clearly, they know more than I do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for Tony and Bob, right? They did a great job. Hold on a second. I want to now, in a perfect example of meta-media frisson, Geraldo's show itself became newsworthy. Judge Napolitano, the libertarian host of Freedom Watch on Fox Business, brought his longtime friend on the air to discuss his decision to give credence of a kind to the campaign. So, we got the volume ready, I think. Let me see. Okay, I'm double clicking. So this is a shorter segment. A show about the show.
One of the world's leading investigative reporters and my dear friend and Fox colleague, Geraldo Rivera, one of the most respected journalists in America, made a stunning revelation days ago about his views on the events on 9/11. Is this healthy skepticism, or has he gone too far? The man himself is here to explain it all. The one, the only, Geraldo Rivera. Hey, Geraldo, welcome here. Welcome to Freedom Watch. I want to play a little tape of what you played on your show last weekend. I want you to watch what you watched, and then we're going to play a tape of what you said after you watched it. Here it is.
I lost my son
My son.
on September 11th, 2001.
Most people don't know that a third tower fell on September 11th.
World Trade Center set, a 47-story skyscraper, was not hit by a plane.
Although the official explanation is that fire brought down Building 7.
Over 1,200 architects and engineers have looked into the evidence.
And believe there is more to the story.
Bring justice to my son.
My uncle,
My nephew.
My son.
and thousands of others who died on September 11th.
Go to
Caught
buildingwhat.org.
my eye is their claim that more than 1,300 architects and engineers examined the evidence about Building 7's collapse and disagree with the official report issued by the National Institute of Standards and Technology.
It is November 2010. Why are you, with all the spotlight that you can draw to what you say because of who you are, revisiting 9/11 and who caused it or who may have caused it now?
Let me take one brief back step and contextually say that I loathe conspiracy theories.
I know that.
I've investigated the Bermuda Triangle. My
Right.
son Bruce and I were just watching a documentary about it. The Kennedy assassination. I played the Zapruder film for the first time on national
You're not a
television.
fan of Jesse,
I am
Jesse Ventura on that.
or conspiracies generally. But what caught my eye here, Judge, and I think that it would have been irresponsible of me because I care so much, is this commercial that the families put out about how not only do they ache and that they want these questions answered, but also that they have these 1,300 architects and engineers who doubt the official conclusion about how Building 7 was brought down.
Do you doubt the official conclusion of how Building 7 came down?
I think that it is highly unlikely that our government would do anything nefarious on a scale of this epic nature. However, the building does appear to come down in a way that is reminiscent of a controlled demolition.
All right, here's what you also said. We have another clip of you talking about up until now.
Up until now, only those considered nut jobs questioned the official conclusion that office fires caused by the nearby catastrophe of the towers collapsing brought down building number 7. And if explosives were involved, that would mean that the most obnoxious protesters in recent years are right.
Could the most obnoxious protesters in recent years be right if the explosives were there and the government didn't cause it, didn't know about it, but won't tell us about it?
Could is a very, very big word, but if indeed explosives were involved, then yes, those loathsome 9/11 or inside job protesters maybe had some reason to have that feeling of people more mainstream, more responsible than them.
Before we leave, what will you do when you have the choice at an airport with your wife and lovely children of the porn scan or the public rope?
I will take the electronic radiation poisoning over the grope because I have an artificial knee anyway, so I get one or the other enhanced techniques. But I call for racial profiling. I think it's time.
All right, we'll talk about racial profiling another time. Is it the role of government to be groping our private parts in public in a free society against our will?
I don't know about our junk, but it is definitely invasive, totally obnoxious, and I think very, very crude.
Geraldo, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
So you'll notice at the end there that Geraldo doesn't make the connection between the airport searches and the story he's just been covering, but baby steps. So, all right. In an interesting footnote, before we unveil the big ad here, Napolitano's show itself became the subject of yet another show on Keith Olbermann, but only to use it as an opportunity to point out Fox News hypocrisy, since they had called for the resignation of Obama official Van Jones over his supposed signing of the 9/11 Truth Petition. Sadly enough, just 2 days ago, my producer was at a fundraiser where Van Jones spoke, and she thought this was a great opportunity and sidled on up to him and was all excited to ask him about it all, and he looked at her with horror and claimed that the entire thing had been a right-wing fabrication, that he'd never signed any petition. So too bad, Van. But now to the new ad. It's different from the previous effort in two important respects. In the first place, it includes the infamous Shyam Sundar, NIST flunky and scientist for hire. In the second, it includes a sampling of actual architects and engineers, some of whom you'll be hearing from later today. So, we'll go ahead and roll it.
I lost my husband.
My son,
My uncle.
My nephew.
September 11th, 2001.
Most people don't know a third tower fell that day.
The government says fire brought it down.
The collapse of World Trade Center 7 was primarily due to fires.
I, along with 1,400 other architects and engineers,
found the government's conclusion to be physically impossible.
We need the truth about what happened that day.
Go to rememberbuilding7.org.
Why it fell, why it matters, and what you can do.
Okay, so there it is. Can we play it one more time before I do that? Let's play it one more time.
We don't need it twice.
Could you hear it out there? play it one more time, but we'll play it throughout the day. And you'll get a chance to see it again. Ted Walters and crew have already raised over $76,000 for the new ad before it even appeared on the air. It was being released really for the first time on the site today, and the goal is to reach $200,000 so that we can hit Manhattan along with the other boroughs. All we were able to do in the media buy last time was to hit, which isn't nothing, but we hit everybody but Manhattan. So now we'd like to include Manhattan in the media buy. The campaign has hired a well-known and experienced press agent to help propel the ad's release into even more venues. But as you know, all this takes money. The good news is, because we are dealing with the truth, it doesn't take nearly as much money as the government is spending on the war on terror and its various propaganda fronts. But it does take significant commitment from the people in this room. And I was going to just ask you, does anyone have a smartphone? Because I just want to see, is the site up? Can you guys just check for me if you can get to it? Remember Building 7. Anyone who's got one, if you can do it, that would be great. I'm just going to go ahead and do it myself right now, and let's just see if it's up there. Okay, you got it. Now, is the donate button, is that also there? Can anyone see? Does anyone have their smartphone up? You've got it. Well, will you? Okay, great. So, will you join me in pressing it right now? I'm going to go ahead and press it. We've given, many tens of thousands of dollars worth of production services, but I'm going to go ahead right now, especially if anyone, would anyone care to just match me with a $250 donation right now? Who can raise your hand who can do it right now with me? Just one. Oh, there we go. There's a guy. Thank you so much. What's your name, sir? Vinny, thank you so much. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And anyone else who doesn't have a smartphone on them, but would like to give right now, please see Manny afterwards. You can write checks out to Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, and you can go ahead and just put on it either, I guess, Building What, I guess, still, or Remember Building 7 in the notes. But anything that we do right now, is going to be, there are various people out there who are going to match, and everything we can do right now today will sort of start the snowball rolling on the net. So I really very much appreciate anything you guys can do. So please see Manny afterwards, and Vinny, you and I will exchange credit card information, and thank you guys so much. I'm going to put the, you go ahead and talk, and I'll put the thing back up.
You could send me the or this is captured.
Okay. That was an incredible ad, that new ad. I want you to notice how there's now family members and engineers, and we have the website, the domain name throughout the 30 seconds, and that's important because even if people get a small glimpse of the commercial, they still are able to look at that website domain name, and they're going to be able to go to it at any point during it. So, because of this ad, I mean, it really shows that we need more than just a rehashing of the grand cover. We need to galvanize the public as to the importance of the information revealed today and inspire action. I just want to mention a little bit about NYC Conn. It's a family member, rescue worker, and survival organization, and it started as a petition drive where we collected 80,000 signatures for a simple yes or no vote on a comprehensive and fact-driven investigation of a crime that took place in New York City. We engaged the public directly, and we were successful in raising awareness. The Building What campaign, which started as a fax, email, and call-in campaign to the New York City Council, has further inspired people from all walks of life. We need people to remember. RememberBuilding7.org. This specific part of the crime, the demise of World Trade Center Tower 7, also known as the Salomon Brothers building, in the range of events of September 11th, is one